My name is Mary Balfour, and I'm here tonight to help you to kick-start your dating strategies. I want you to take control of your love life. And what I'm going to do is to introduce you to my Domino dating strategy. Now, the idea behind this is that it will help you to create lots of fabulous dating opportunities. And as well as that, I hope it will help you to acquire more fluency in the language of dating. Now, I want everybody here to leave this evening with a dating action plan. Now, it takes about 21 days to change a habit, to introduce a new habit. That means you've got to do lots of practice, lots of homework. And I'll be giving you lots of ideas tonight, which I hope you'll write down on the index cards which you've got on your seats, and take them away with you and practice them in everyday life.
If you get a good dating agency, you hope that they'd look at who you are and what your interests are and find someone who's compatible, so there's more than just ticking a box saying I like this, you know, maybe they do more of a who's this person, what are they all about, what they're looking for.
Okay, what are my credentials? Well, I've been matchmaking for 21 years now and giving tips and advice on dating as well. I started off life in another interfering profession, education, and I was head of an adult education centre in North Kensington. And then in 1986, I bought Drawing Down the Moon, which had already been established for 2 years and was run from a small bookshop near the British Museum. What you would do is you'd go in and you'd buy a book and come out with a date. It was a fabulous concept. And I decided that that was what I wanted to do, so I'd have a job which kept me going till I was 104. We have been in the very privileged position as matchmakers of seeing the dating situation from the other end of the telescope. And this enables us to see what works and what doesn't work. And it's very easy to see the difference. Because psychology being equal, you can have two people with equal readiness to go into a dating situation. One will do it the right way, and the other will sabotage everything. So what you need to do is to look at what it is that's getting in the way. Now, there are 3 major romance blockers these days which stop people finding a partner, and you all know what they are. The first thing is that all the old matchmaking institutions such as the church, the extended family, the local village green, street life, the factory floor, balls and parties if you were rich, these have all vanished. Those were the institutions that used to put you in touch with your future partner. The second thing is that we now go into relationships for a completely different reason. In the old days, our ancestors would go into a partnership with someone else, get married, have children, not for love so much as for economic security and procreation and sex. Now, it's not for any of those things primarily. It's much more to do with the emotional connection. It's to do with finding a companion, it's finding sexual satisfaction, and those sort of things which are much more important than going into a relationship. We all know this. Therefore, we're much too fussy. We move on from one person to the next, a sort of butterfly effect, hoping to find the grass greener on the other side. And this means that our standards are much too high, and we filter out possible partners really much too early in the process. And this means that we never meet anyone who's quite what we're looking for. So the first thing we need to do is to identify those things that are tripping us up in our dating life. For example, we are all working hard, professionals and that sort of thing, and we tend to lead very privatised lives, perhaps going home with a bottle of wine, a DVD on a Saturday night, rather than going out and socialising. So what are your particular sabotage points as far as dating is concerned? What stops you going out and finding a partner right now?
I mean, I really enjoy being single. I think, you know, when you've got your own job, you've got your own place, and you're at a point in your life where you're very happy with who you are, and I think you get used to being single and you're very used to being a strong, independent woman on your own.
People of my age bracket, and I'm 34, generally have someone in the background that they may not call their other half, but they may actually say, well, this is someone that I rely on when things go wrong. So they have someone there. So they may come across as single, or they may even say that they're single, but they're actually with someone.
Well, I'm 60, so at my age you always find men who are looking for much younger women, and if you go on the internet or whatever. So I think that's one of the problems. The other problem is, where do you meet people?
What else gets in the way? Is there a shortage of members of one sex or the other?
Men. Yep. I don't think there's much a shortage of men. I think there's a shortage of men that are actually prepared to hit the dating scene within certain age groups, but in particular.
Yes, which age groups are those?
I'd say 40 plus, 35, 40 plus.
40 plus, there's a shortage of men prepared to hit the dating scene. And women like younger men sometimes as well.
Well, mostly, really.
Yeah. Why not? We live longer, don't we?
Exactly.
Exactly. So, I mean, one has to become aware of these things, and the more one is aware of this, the better it is. But there are other things that get in the way of dating. For example, sometimes people are frightened of rejection, frightened of hurting someone by not falling in love with them, finding it's difficult perhaps to meet people because they're working so hard. They might meet lots of useful partnership potential type people at work, but being professional, they can't date at work because you might be accused of sleeping with the boss to get promotion, and what would happen if the relationship broke up? You wouldn't be able to perhaps continue working where you were if it was a really bad breakup. These sort of things get in the way, don't they? All of these excuses can be got over, every single one of them, if you are proactive. Now, I really believe that every professional person can be as successful in their love life as they are in their work life if they're equally as strategic. And by this, I don't mean just being manipulative and so forth. I mean actually internalizing the whole mindset of someone who's going to be businesslike about it. What you need to do is to create lots and lots of dating opportunities and get lots of practice dating. Now, you can do this if you're prepared to go about it in the right way. Now, you've dumped your excuses.